I mean, if you think of it as a bicycle kick with the bicycle is laying on its side.
Welcome to amorephillyunion, the podcast where we swear to talk about the Philly Union, the whole Philly Union, and nothing but the Philly Union, with as few digressions as possible. We are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm C.
And I'm E.
So, update on our Help Us Help the U challenge. We're up to 950 downloads, so thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
We're up 30 downloads from last week, so we got 50 to go to hit our target. And at that point, we will, once again, just to remind everybody, make a donation into the Philadelphia Union Foundation. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, help us, if this happens, hopefully we'll be done with it by the end of at least the first round of the Union's playoff round.
Save it for the pod.
That's why we're here.
Yes, this is going to be a little grumpy of an episode, I think.
Well, they've all been, because like the Union, we're getting tired of this season. You know, it's been going on for 48 games so far, I believe. I think the number was up to that the Union have played. And, you know, we've got at least 3 more in the first round of the playoffs. And we get to face the same team 4 times in a row.
It's the season that never ends.
At least 3 times in a row, to be clear, because it is a best of 3.
Once, not twice, but thrice.
Yeah, that's right. You liked it once, you'll love it twice. You'll be sick of it by the 3rd time.
Yeah, buckle up, everybody. It's going to get a little salty, a little sassy. I don't know.
All right, so let's talk about the Union.
This is turning into therapy, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, we're commiserating. Yeah, which is really frustrating because the Union have had such a wildly successful season. Like, you know, by all the metrics that you want to look at it, the Union have had a very successful season. But it's just like it's been a haul. It's been a slog.
Yeah.
And the season wrapped with a trip to New England.
Yeah,
balmy New England in the rain. On decision day, where the Union had basically nothing to play for, and they lived up to that.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a couple things had to go not our way for us to lose our footing in the standings, and those things did not go our way.
So they were sitting in 3rd. They had no shot at 2nd. They needed a win to wrap up.
Just lock it.
If they had won, which they didn't, they lost.
Yeah, spoiler.
If they had won, they would have held on to 3rd, no challenge. If they had tied, then other things would have had to have happened, and one way or the other, they dropped the 4th.
Yep.
They still get home field advantage for the first round of the playoffs, depending on how things go. The craziness is, if the Union were to advance to the MLS Cup final, and any team other than St. Louis advances to the MLS Cup final out of the West, the Union will host the MLS Cup final.
Well, I mean, if the game from last weekend with the we need a very narrow range of events to go our way for a very unlikely result to occur, and that's what happened this weekend. We dropped down to 4th place. Maybe it'll work in our favor now on the other side of the league, and I'm just gonna stop talking. Okay.
All right, let's talk about this game before we dive into the playoffs. So this was a 1-2 loss for the Union. They took a lead early on what can only be described, in my opinion, as a debacle by the backup goalkeeper for the Revolution, basically taking out both Ora and Carranza, and Carranza's doing some sort of a breakdance move and kicking the ball while on the ground and beating 2 defenders to put it into the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Carranza for just sticking with it and doing a little windmill side kick, whatever, to put the ball into the net. But as goals go, it was pretty ugly.
I mean, if you think of it as a bicycle kick with the bicycle is laying on its side, it's more impressive.
It's like those gyroscopic what do they call it? The gyroscopic experiment that they have at the Franklin Institute, where you turn the wheel sideways and then
yes.
What is that? Angular precession or something like that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I don't understand how that goalkeeper didn't get a card for that. Like, he literally took out 2 players and didn't get a card.
Yeah, he said the same thing.
Sometimes I wonder if the refs just see this happening, the thought starts snowballing in their head, like, I'm gonna pull out the card, I'm gonna give the PK, the ball went, and then okay, we'll just let it play, and they got the goal.
I get the point that if he gets the ball first, technically it's not a foul. I have not bothered to rewatch the recap for this game because this game frustrated me to no end.
Yep.
And I didn't really want to see it. Maybe he got the ball first. Maybe that's why he didn't get a card. But I am so sick of referees playing advantage and not giving the cards out afterwards. And what I'm referring back to is that dog show that was determined not to be dog show when Carranza got taken out by a defender and then Aura chased the ball down and made something happen. It's like, I'm sorry, you denied Carranza a goal scoring opportunity. That should be a card.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Because Aura is a good player and makes it happen anyway, does not change the fact that you denied a goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
If that keeper comes out and takes out a player, he should get a card. Whether another player comes in and scores the goal anyway doesn't deny the fact that it was a foul.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why that's not the case, and why VAR doesn't pull it up and say, yeah, that needs to be a card. I get it. So supposedly VAR is only supposed to review red card situations. Oh, so frustrating. Just frustrating.
All right, everyone, let's all take a deep cleansing breath. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna
make it through this.
Yeah. No, Paul, I agree with you. The ends don't justify the means or whatever. Just because the run of events still went in our favor doesn't mitigate, not giving cards out.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that it's necessarily a red card on the Union, and the Revolution's goalkeeper. But I mean, at least a yellow card, I would have thought.
Definitely in the orange part of the spectrum.
And if he's got a yellow card, the Union go up 1-0 in like the 16th minute. Maybe that game comes out differently. Maybe the play goes differently. It just seemed really. Like, despite the fact that they were up, the Union just never really felt in control of this game.
Nah, it felt like the wobbling suspension system that seems to be the chassis of the Union team right now was really starting to shake. We're gonna see how many more descriptions we can get in this.
It gets up over 35 miles an hour, and the shimmy is to call it a shimmy is generous.
Yeah.
I don't know how a Union fan can watch that game, seeing that it's a tune-up game before the playoffs start, and feel confident in any way in how the Union is playing.
Yeah. I mean, when they got that goal, I was like, oh, thank God we got a goal. But I felt no confidence. I'm like, we got to get at least 2 more before I can start breathing a little easier.
So the Union did roll out the 3-5-2, 5-3-2, whatever you want to call the
6-7-5-3.
Exactly. And so Damian Lowe gets put out there as a starter. And
speaking of shaky,
he's called for a handball in the box towards the end of later in the first half. Obviously, PK situations, they definitely favor the offense, and Gustavo Bo puts that one past Blake. I mean, Blake did go the right way.
Yeah.
But the shot beat Blake. That's what happens. Once again, just Lowe is shaky back there. And I didn't rewatch this. I don't know. What did you guys think about the handball call?
Do you want to?
Well, I mean, I always struggle with handballs. I've mentioned this before on the pod that in my mind, unless somebody I saw it, and this was kind of on the line, but unless somebody kind of actively used their hands and should not have. So I mean, it did make me think, why don't we just kick the ball at the other a player on the other team's arm and get yourself a penalty, just as easy as trying to score.
Yeah, don't worry about putting on frame, just practice
just
kicking at other people's hands.
Yeah, kick at the hands. I mean, they're professionals, they can do that. So
yeah.
I mean, I know I'm being a little facetious here, but yeah, I was a little salty about it, but I this more than some other handball calls I could understand.
Yeah.
But
and since the Union got away with arguably 2 questionable handball calls against who was that?
Yeah,
Nashville.
That was, but it was
we can only say so much. But I mean, I do think you kind of have to look back at the purpose of the handball call. This game was founded to make the boys play with use their feet to kick the ball around rather than their hands. So the call of handball means that they were trying to play the ball with their hands, meaning they were trying to affect the game, to get some advantage by using their arms or their hands.
Correct.
Okay, that's why they originally cut it out. Now everything's gone into 20,000 lines of legalese in the FIFA rule books, and it's actually not that long. It's a really short section that have to do with handballs, but it can be deciphered and enacted in so many different ways. It's like, can we all just agree that if you're not actively trying to swat the ball out of the air or pass it up the field like a quarterback, it's probably not literally a handball violation. Yeah, it went off a part of your body that's a bit bigger. It's tough. It's tough.
I mean, preach, basically, is what I'm So
can I get an amen? No, hey, this is the current way the rules are rolled out, so we all have to play by those. But it's tough, especially in this game where if they hadn't had that PK, it would have been a tie game because nobody did anything in the second half as far as scoring went. And so the Union gave up a PK. Bo converts it a little, towards the end of the first half before halftime. Bo gets the second goal, which is eventually the game winner. And then, the second half happens and there's lots of complaining about the referee and, for whatever, did the referee lose control? Did the whatever? Yeah. Were they just being prima donnas and complaining? Like the only thing that really stands out to me in the second half is the fact that we got 2 yellow cards for dissent in the end of the second half by Wagner and Carranza. It's like Wagner complaining, getting a card for dissent. That could almost be like Martinez. Any game he could get a yellow card for that with the way Wagner mouths off.
Well, Wagner's card actually came in the first half. It came at the PK when the handball fell low, but so the Wagner yellow card and then the Carranza yellow card. I mean, Wagner is, he's a little hot under the collar, right? You said he's on the Martinez side of the spectrum, but it is kind of I don't know if maybe I know I'm reading into all this, but with the end of the season coming, no contract yet for Wagner, if not any contract whatsoever. I gotta imagine at least there's some level of frustration. So I don't know if that's fueling the the dissent. But when Carranza gets one, I just really felt like that was just the symptom of us not playing as a cohesive team. Yeah. Not playing
good Union soccer.
Good solid soccer. Yeah. And so not only was this a 2-1 loss, it was like a 2-1 loss that was just not a pretty one. It was just like it wasn't heartening. It wasn't like, oh, we were down 2-0 and all of a sudden we just galvanized our efforts and we really started fighting and we got 1 goal. But you know what? If we had 10 more minutes, we would have equalized. It was just we got the goal first. And after that, it was just white knuckle, just trying to hold on for that. And we couldn't even do it.
And it's not like the Union didn't have their starters out there.
Yeah.
They absolutely had their starting lineup out there. As good a lineup as they could put because of injuries to Bizo and forget who else is out right now. But I mean, even Flock got 15 minutes in this game.
That was good to see. I was glad to see Flock getting back on the field. Yeah, but for me, this game was, it was yes, no, damn it.
Once again.
Yes, no, damn it.
Yes, no, damn it. Amorephillyunion.
I mean,
I do have to digress despite our tagline and say if Martinez is at one end of the spectrum of of rowdiness on the field, who's on
the other end?
LeToux.
LeToux, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Or Elliot, I would say.
No.
Oh, Elliot can get a little.
Elliot's got some cards.
Elliot has gotten some cards. LeToux has gotten some cards.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like Elliot gets in there. I mean, maybe it's just because he's tall and he draws attention.
I mean, maybe Blake. Blake really doesn't get any cards.
Yeah. Actually, of current folks.
Yes.
I would. I mean, all time LeToux.
No, LeToux, I think, actually got like the nice guy award one year, which basically he played like every single minute of the season and got 0 cards.
Yeah, he would be, I think, at the other end of the spectrum.
But of current, I would go with Blake.
Of current, I would go Blake, and I kind of want to go with Glesnes, but I do know he does get. Well, it takes like a bench clearing brawl for him to get his Norwegian up.
He's got a high anger threshold, but once he gets angry,
you wouldn't like him when he gets angry.
Exactly. That's pretty much where I was going with that. Yeah.
As much as Union Hulk likes Ronaldinho, it's more Glesnes than what was that?
And I was like, okay, who would win in a fight? Glesnes or 100 Chihuahuas? But yeah, so this game was. I'm hopeful. The one sliver of hope I take out of this game is whatever bad mojo. Hopefully, we're just working it out now before the playoffs start. And I do realize the futility of this thinking, but or at least the wishfulness of it. I just hope. I don't know. Hope we just had some weird mojo and just get it out of our system and just.
Well, fortunately, there's plenty of time for the Union to figure out what they want to do in this first round of playoffs because, the first game of this playoff series is on Saturday at Subaru Park, which is great. October 28th, Saturday, 5:00 start. Sounds like a great opportunity. So, hey, game 1 of this 3-game series, Saturday. That means then the next game's got what, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4, maybe.
Right? Yeah, right. It's gonna be like 4
days. Wait,
right?
Tuesday's Halloween. We can't do Halloween.
Yeah.
So when is it? When's that next one?
Well, it's 10 days later.
Why?
and just for the uninitiated, which is pretty much everybody, because this is all brand new. But for those who aren't familiar with the playoff system this year for MLS,
if you don't like the playoff system this year, just wait a year.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The first round of playoff games are going to be a best of 3 games. Now, there's a lot of things, and we're going to talk about it. At first glance, though, I'm actually kind of interested in this 3-game series. There's something kind of fun where it's not just one game that decides. Because, like the saying, 9 out of 10 times, one team might beat another, but this one game, you don't know if it's the 10th. But with 3 games, it's more of a holistic measurement of the 2 teams' abilities.
Because the way Philadelphia teams are doing it with series.
Okay, yes. There we go. I know. And that's for me on the surface, I was kind of interested, but let's crack open this nut about the playoffs. So the first thing is game 1 is this Saturday. Game 2 is 10 days later, 11 days, 10 days later.
Yeah.
On
November 8th. Wednesday, November 8th. So they decided this year that every team that makes this round of the playoffs will get 1 home game. So as such, the matchups are not just a one and done game at the higher seeds venue. It is a 3-game series where the higher seed team gets to host the first and third game of the series. Okay. So if the one team wins the first and second game of the series, they're done and they move on to the next round. If both teams win one, and then it goes to the third game, and that's going to be hosted at the higher seed stadium. The other thing is games are played until the end of regulation, and there must be a winner. If there is not a winner at the end of regulation, they immediately go to a PK shootout.
So this is that similar game format as they did with the
Leagues Cup, right?
Cup. So just again, for the bigger picture for the Union, we're the higher seed team against New England. So we're hosting game 1 and game 3 if needed.
So anybody else betting that we're going to just, instead of seeing a lot of teams looking to score goals, we're going to see a lot of Italian soccer? Just all defense kick each other while they go running around the field and play for the penalty kicks.
Just kick it at each other's arms. I'm telling you.
Yeah, only in the box, though. See,
only in the box. But it's Steven, so it gets more opportunities than just one goal.
Yeah,
kick arms.
Call it foot and handball or hand and football. I don't know.
Something like that.
Here's a question that I don't know the answer because I didn't do the homework. I wonder if the other teams have like who are on the playoffs that have a big gap between their first and their second game. And if that's the case, again, I didn't do any homework. If that's kind of advantageous for encouraging games to try to win 2 games right up front. Maybe we play our first game, we win it, hopefully, and then it gives us 10 days to rest to just go and win that second game. And then you get a break. You don't have to play a game and 4 days later. Also, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So
let's take a look here. So Saturday, the Union play. I'm just looking at, like, for instance, St. Louis plays Kansas City on Sunday. Oh, and then their second game is the following Sunday, November 5th. So they get a week break between games.
Okay.
And then their third game, if they need it, is Saturday, November 11th. So it's literally every weekend. This is just so wacky. I mean, why is MLS Cup going back? It's going till Thanksgiving. Like, it's literally, the season is longer than baseball season. They started in February.
Yep.
They just wrapped this the actual end of the season in October.
Yep.
And they're going to be playing post playoffs until after the World Series is done.
Yep.
No, I mean, they have gone late before, and with fewer teams, they went. I remember distinctly going to a Christmas event the first weekend of December.
Yeah,
when the final, as the final was being played, it was Portland. Somebody in Portland.
Yeah, but who thinks that's going to result in a good game?
No, I'm actually. It was terrible because
God help us if New England somehow manages to host an MLS Cup final. It's going to be like 6 inches or 8 inches or 12 inches of snow on Gillette Stadium's turf that they're going to have to shovel off before the freaking game.
Well, not even that. It really, truly, this year, I mean, the year I'm remembering, a number of years ago, was there was so much time between the games that I couldn't even remember. And I also, because the Union wasn't in it, so that didn't help. But I couldn't remember who was playing. It was like, wait, who's still in? Oh, right. Okay. I guess I'll root for Portland then, but like, it was so drawn out and it was ridiculous. And it was like, I'm literally going to a Christmas thing and this is still happening. And I could could care less at this point. I mean, also Union wasn't in it, but yeah, go ahead.
But I feel like after that year, because the playoffs were extended, there was so much space between the games and the playoffs that it was kind of like, wait, the league's even still going on. And I felt like it was the following year where they revamped it and they basically like mea culpa'd it. Where like, we knew we stretched it out.
Yes.
And it's tough on the players and it's tough on the fans because you break up that continuity of games. And like we're gonna have a nice compact playoff system to keep the energy and excitement going, and they did do that. I'm like, cool, because remember we talked about like I'm so glad they didn't throttle back on the pace of the season.
Right.
So it was great. And now I feel like we're backtracking in that
it's a
to
step
that
backward.
weird.
It's a
Yeah.
step backward, even though they're still playing games. But yeah, I don't understand,
Mm-hmm.
and neither do they. And I think that's the problem.
And I appreciate MLS experimenting with playoff structure and all that, but eventually, I don't know about you guys, I kind of wouldn't mind what to expect every year when the playoffs roll around.
That'd be nice.
You know, I mean,
well, I mean,
NFL,
part of the problem is that as MLS keeps expanding.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing to get more
No.
teams. Let me be clear. It's not a bad thing to get more teams into this league. As long as the quality is good and the players are good and stuff like that. But it's just, it would be nice just to be like, all right, you know what? The season has to end. We have to name a supporter shield winner at end of September, and then we'll enter some sort of a after the season tournament, whether that be a group stage followed by eliminations, whatever. But yeah, just every year changing it and the unnecessary stretching of the season is it's annoying.
Yeah,
it's absolutely annoying because I mean, unless the union, because if the union do advance, okay, I'll be paying attention.
Sure.
Otherwise, I don't care. Like it's tough.
Yeah.
By year 27, you think they'd be leveling off to some kind of cruising altitude, and no. I mean, again, Paul's point stands with with adding the teams does stir things up.
That makes sense to me, right?
Yeah, I mean, anyway.
Yeah. So,
one way or the other, the union will finish the first round of the playoffs, this best of 3, and then go into the single elimination rounds. Hopefully, the union will be in them, and they've already set the bracket. So, the union or New England, whichever one wins this first round of 3, is going to play the winner of Cincinnati and the Pink Cows. I mean, the Red Bulls, and they're playing. So I don't even know when that next round will end, since the first round won't end until November 12th. I guess the next round may be that following Wednesday. I don't know. If they wait another week, I mean, they're basically going to be playing into December before they finish MLS Cup.
Yeah, I don't.
So,
Except the final on New Year's Eve.
I know we were talking about this though. I mean, I do think the Union have a good chance of beating the Revolution. Playing in Chester twice, that's going to be tough for any team to overcome. And I do think the Union will advance. So who would you rather see them face, Cincinnati or Red Bull in a 1-game elimination in round 2 of the playoffs?
Red Bulls. Hands down, Red Bulls.
Yeah, we talked about this before we started recording. Paul, you had that very wise statement of "I will never root for the New York Red Bulls," which I also
damn right.
Because we were saying it's Cincinnati or Red Bulls. I was like, oh man, I hope the Red Bulls win because we can face them. And then you rightfully pointed out my error. I'm like, yeah, good point. So whatever the results might be, if we were to face Cincinnati, I would be more nervous because we'd be playing there.
Yes.
And they are
they're a good team.
They are a really, really good team this season. And I think we would do better playing at home against the team that is ranked lower than us.
You are very carefully trying to say that you want the Red Bulls to win.
I'll put it this way,
so that we can play them.
If Red Bulls beat Cincinnati and then we face them at home and we beat them, it's going to be really sweet. If Cincinnati wins and we face them there and we beat them, hey, that's going to be a big old feather in our cap for taking down the number 1 team in Eastern Conference.
The Supporter Shield winner. Yeah, so I mean, not only did Cincinnati, do well and get good position in the Eastern Conference, but they won the Supporter Shield. They're the highest scoring, highest points getting team in all of MLS.
I think in terms of pure excitement, I would say a Union Red Bull next round would be pretty exciting.
There's no doubt that the stadium would be up for that, and the Sons of Ben, I can only imagine what they would roll out. But at this time of the year, I'd rather see us face Cincinnati. I mean, I would love to see them actually challenge them, and I think they would lose. And I think that would be the end of the season, and we'd be able to move on and start the postseason and make plans for next year, because it's been 48 games. It's going to be over 50 games by the time this is all wrapped up, and it's going to be at least 50 games by the time they wrap up. If they lose both, first 2 games against Revolution, then it'll be, I believe, exactly 50. I can't root for the Red Bulls, and I won't root for the Red Bulls, and that's just how it is. But plus, I just don't think that the Red Bulls are going to beat Cincinnati. Sorry, guys, I just don't.
No, I would wager a cup of coffee too.
No, I mean, I don't either. But I'll root for them. If it means I'm luring them into my trap to slay them.
There you
go. Okay. All right. Not a whole lot else news-wise from the Union this week. It's been very quiet as they prep. Hopefully they're, watching lots of video, watching lots of game tape, making plans so that they can remember, oh, yeah, we used to be good. We used to be dominant. Not just good. We used to dominate teams. Yeah. And let's get back to that. Yeah. Let's remind people that soccer is a fun game, and we know how to play it in a fun way and really excite people with the game. Because it happens. There's sparks. There were sparks in all of the games this season where it's like, oh yeah, you can see the connection, you can see the flow start to happen, and then whatever happens. Sometimes it leads to a goal, but oftentimes it leads to frustration. So hopefully the Union are fully ready for this Red Bull or for the Revolution game, and show up and just, get on the front foot early and just put their foot on Revolution's neck and don't let them up.
Yeah.
I
guess in other news floating around out there in the ether, I mean, we don't have any hard and fast facts or sources, because heck, if you're listening to our podcast, you're not here for rigor,
quality. Quality reporting. Now that's you're in the wrong place, but
I guess there was something floating out there. I mean, there's nothing new on the Bedoya and Wagner potential. Are they going to get a contract or not? And it's looking like it's not, but there was a quote from Curtin out there somewhere basically saying that actually, Christy, I guess you had the quote. Put you on the spot.
Right. I wasn't ready for this.
She wasn't ready for this.
Scoops Jr., what you got? Scoops Jr.
So the quote, and like Eric said, this is kind of in the ether, floating around. But anyway,
for what it's worth.
Jim Curtin mentioned apparently at a press conference, mentions he's an optimist that, quote unquote, the right thing will be done in regards to the Athletic report mentioning Bedoya and Wagner won't be back next season. Not being back next season, grammar's a little off, but so like we said last time, more to come, I guess, on that. We don't know until we know.
We're keeping our ears to the ground
until the thank you for your service posts go up.
Until they buy a billboard somewhere around Philadelphia saying thanks for everything. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't mean they're taking, Bedoya out to a farm somewhere and,
wow, this got dark fast.
Leave the gun, take the cannoli, huh?
No. I fully expect that Bedoya will be coaching somewhere, or finding other opportunities, wherever he wants to go. Somebody's going to make him a good offer. Or,
I'd be happy to see him with one more season at least. That'd be fine with me. But yeah.
That, or he should start his own life coach business. Like, imagine being like, getting ready to go to work and you have like a huddle with Ali Bedoya, like, come on, let's do this. I'm ready to start running through walls. It's like
talk about running through a wall.
It's like we just need that TPS report. Like, let's go.
All right. Well, let's see how the Union do this Saturday. Hopefully, they come back with some good energy and get the fans up, and hopefully everybody that gets out there gets to enjoy one last surprisingly summer-like day in Chester.
Yeah, the weather's looking great for Saturday.
So, All right. So as always, you can find us at our website, amorephillyunion.com. Please email us, even if it's just to, send out some pedantic corrections or not so pedantic corrections, which, to the many errors that we make. You can email us at pod@amorephillyunion.com.
Feel free to give us your predictions too for the playoffs.
Absolutely. You can hit us up on X at amorephillyu, Instagram. What's that?
I was talking to Chris the other day. We always like X, formerly known as Twitter, and all that. I'm like, because me personally, I don't want to call it X because honestly, it's a stupid name. And it's Twitter because we all used to know what Twitter was. So I'm like, yeah, in order to call it, let's just call it Twix.
Okay, so hit us up on Twix at amorephillyu. Instagram, YouTube, Threads. We are amorephillyunion. As always, or just as a reminder, we have a very eclectic Spotify playlist. You can find us under amorephillyunion. So please tune in. You can get our podcast wherever you get yours. So subscribe, like, comment, help spread the word. We're 50 downloads from hitting our point. So help us to do it before next week.
Help us.
Help us. Help the you. Help us.
Help the you. Help us. Help the you.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in for another episode of Amorephillyunion. We're your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm C.
And I'm E.
Go Union!
And go Red Bulls if you're playing Cincinnati. Goodbye.